Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another special episode of Talk to the Internet featuring Bruce Green, Sir Lawrence, Criken, that's me, and our special guest today, Charborg.
No, Charborg. Charborg.
What was my
Char.
line?
Did I earworm you that hard?
Your line is, "Hi everyone, I'm Charborg."
Hi, everybody. I'm Charborg.
His name is Charborg, dude.
It's debatable. No one's actually confirmed that.
There's really no way to know what his name is or
We'll
isn't.
have to check the records.
Welcome everyone. So today we've been doing this thing about once a month where we talk with a different creator on this lovely internet, and we talk about what they make. In this case, Charbog makes some really
Oh my god.
awesome internet content on YouTube and Twitch, and has an awful skin tag by the looks of it. We're playing.
Skin tag.
I
Yeah,
don't want
see
to
it.
tell you, dude, but
I see
we're playing. Oh God, what even is this name? Like, he sent me this game about
Fishing Planet.
Finishing Planet. We're playing Fishing
Finishing
Planet.
Fishing Planet.
We're playing
Fishing
Fishing Planet with Charbog, and we're gonna be catching fish, and we're just gonna be chatting and talking a bit about his history as a creator, and why he picked a fish as his avatar, because this is his doing.
You know, it was never even an issue. No, it was never even weird. It wasn't even questioned until just recently. I've seen like an increased amount of people asking me why I fish.
Well,
And,
I'd assumed it was because your catchphrase of it's.
Oh, don't even start this.
Fish-
Wait. He has a catchphrase?
He does. He's actually one of the few creators that still has a catchphrase. You know, like you open and end your stream and your videos.
Yeah.
He goes.
What's the catchphrase? What is it?
He goes. I hope you're having a fish-tastic day.
That's pretty catchy.
That's
That
not
is
what
really
I say.
catchy.
That's
Is it
really
on a
not what I
shirt or
say.
anything?
Dude, like a month and a half ago, Criken came into my chat and said that. And he said, "Oh, your catchphrase, why don't you say it?" And then ever since then, like every day, like I stream and people every day are trying to get me to say this catchphrase that just doesn't exist.
Oh man. Oh, somebody in my chat
He's
said
ruined me.
in quotes catchy because we're fishing. Ugh.
Ooh.
Ugh. That
Hey,
hurts.
hey, Criken, that's a pretty good line.
Oh no.
Now you, Charborg. Now you.
I gotta go.
Look,
That
I'm
was
sorry.
it. Okay, all right. All right, got it.
I'm not being fair to him. So Charborg is a close friend of
What
mine.
does he do? Yeah,
What does he do?
Criken?
Yeah.
What do I do?
What
Yeah.
dude? Yeah, he makes some very interesting YouTube videos. He as I was describing before we went live. I don't know why I was nicer to you before we went live than when we were actually
You were
live.
so nice before.
You felt like
Very
you went from feeling
complimentary.
like you felt like a father figure, and then instantly to like I don't know, like evil uncle or
Yeah,
something.
drunk uncle just mispronouncing your name and
Say the line, kid.
hold on. Sorry, real quick before I finish introducing you, I think I've cast my line 100 feet into the ocean or this river, and I don't know how to get it out again. What is the button or the, how do I reel it
left
back?
click?
Left click. All right, I just gotta keep holding.
Did
it.
you not practice the game
I,
before we
did, I
went
thought
live?
I did, but I don't know where the bobber went. It's just
I think you might be
long
snagged.
line.
You're snagged
Oh,
on the
no.
ocean floor.
You're going
dude.
further. You're going further.
It is
out.
going
Reel
further.
in. Yeah,
I,
reeling.
that
reel
was
in.
reeling in. That's what I thought reeling in was.
No. The number
Look.
should be going down.
But it's
The
going
number
up.
should be
I don't know why it's going up. I literally am holding it up and okay. I might be broken. Anyway, look, this doesn't matter. What matters is Charborg is
Getting all over the dock.
it's just
Oh, yeah,
going
no.
longer. I think something has gone horribly wrong.
Go the other way.
I-
Reel the other way.
What other way, dude? Left click is reel in.
What if you got a fish
Right,
on
try
there?
right click. Try right click.
Right click
How's
is
that
holding
even
up.
happening? Reels don't eject fishing.
As I'm reeling, it's oh, there it is. Okay, it was broken. It was definitely broken. It's happening again.
No, it's
Oh,
going
it's a
up.
fish. That's why. I got my first fish.
If you hold right click,
Oh.
you can walk around with the fish.
Charborg, I don't think I had a clearance to fish here. I just got fined $100.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
you have to buy a license.
We're poachers.
Well, if you don't have a license, I guess. I think you're going to prison, buddy.
All right, Charborg, what do you do?
I just make YouTube videos. Okay.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
it.
What kind of YouTube videos do you like? Would you say you make? How
Um,
would you describe it?
I like to make stuff that feels less like just a compilation of random like funny stuff and more like a story from start to finish. So I'll record forever and just see what naturally happens, and then I'll record with intent to like wrap it up into a story. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't really think of a good example, but say
I can
say
think
I
of
have
a
a
few.
thing that emerges that's an arc where I don't know, it's someone getting bullied, then I would want a like an intro and an outro like build up and rise and fall to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Charborg's
So
also, I don't think, very good at he's too modest. He's not
Oh, okay.
he's not talking about a lot of the stuff that I think really makes him unique as a creator. And one of those things is these stories that he's describing. A lot of them he does on stream first. So he'll do a stream where they play a game, and while they're streaming, they notice kind of this emergent story has evolved, and then he'll go in afterwards, and then from recording extra kind of B-roll and voiceover, kind of reshape it into a different narrative that works a lot better as a YouTube video. So it's I think a really interesting way of mixing the mediums of like a live stream kind of engagement with a much cleaner post story. And then he's also done some really creative projects that are totally different, like your GTA kind of whole movie, I would say, like the Kentucky
yeah.
movie.
I have a bad habit of like accidentally starting things that are too like hard and annoying to realistically do, and then getting too wrapped up to stop. So I took audio from like I don't know 3 months worth of live streams and then shaped it into a story and then completely redid the visuals in GTA single player to make it like cinematic, and it took like 5 or 6 months to do. It was such a pain.
It sounds awesome. I mean, like, do you? I guess for me, these sorts of things are. Did you get the return on investment that you wanted? Like, once you finished, were you like, great, I'm glad I did that, or were you like, man, that took way too long?
A little bit of both, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm happy with spending time on stuff and doing all that, but I think the longer I go between uploading something, the more pressure I feel, because I feel like people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's been like 3 months. This better be amazing." And then in turn, I'm
Right.
like stressing out, like, "Is this good?" I have no clue. I get in my
Yeah.
head about it.
Yeah.
So that
no,
sucks. But
that makes
I
sense.
like making high effort stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's rewarding.
His GTA one is really fascinating because the GTA RP is like this enormous scene on Twitch and has really had a lot of staying power, more than most stuff on Twitch. And I think part of that's just because it's all a bunch of individual streamers' characters that all have their own story arcs. And so if you're a fan of one of them, you'll want to watch the others kind of to see how they all interconnect and everything. And the way Charborg did it was have this kind of consistent narrative of his main character, Kentucky, that like overlapped with a bunch of other people's characters. And then it's really surreal to watch the full video of it, because he takes all. I'm sorry, I just hit level 3, and I just want to acknowledge that real quick. I think I unlocked cheese.
Hey, you got cheese, dog.
I got cheese, and I can go to the Czech. I don't know. That's a far way to travel. And I don't want to.
Starter pack.
We'll
I
make a
like that.
weekend out of it. You see this?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm keeping this one, and I'm not gonna be fined like you were because I have a license. I don't do shit illegally.
Well, the weird thing was
Damn.
I haven't been fined for the last 2 that I caught, but the first one I was fined for, and I don't know how that one was different.
I think it's like a gamble, like whether or not they catch you or not.
Ooh, okay, all right, it's a little bit of fun.
Criken's a rebel. They're gonna send him like a ticket in the mail, and he's just gonna mail back a "Don't tread on me" postcard.
I've done that several times. I mean, I think for my last 3 tax returns, that was what was included in the packet.
Yeah,
It was
what are
just
they gonna do? Arrest you or something?
Yeah,
Get
I
real.
mean, as long as you keep moving, they don't actually catch you. It's what I found.
Yeah, you
no,
have to
that-
stop. That's what people don't know. As long as you're moving, they can't touch you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
both-
people that just stop.
both-
It's
No,
like
guys,
freeze
that's
tag.
that's wrong. You'll go to jail. No, you'll go to
right.
jail.
Don't
there.
listen
Right.
it, old man Bruce with his
Okay, all right.
laws
Hey,
and
I'm
his.
just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Well, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever, they still let you stream in prison, right?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
so.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, I'm done for. Yeah. So Charborg's like, I really, I want us to like look at the GTA video at some point, because I've really seen nothing like it since. It's basically the whole concept was he took only the audio from all of his different streams because the audio is cleaned, right? The audio tells the story, but of course, in anything like GTRP, there's a bunch of like finickiness when it comes to the animations and like UI and a bunch of other stuff. So rather than mess with all that in editing to make it cohesive, he went back into GTA in single player and like made a cinematic out of every single scene and like, you know, actually had the characters run and do a certain thing. So I would love to hear more about the process of that because I know
Oh, yeah.
you said it took you months, but
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen
It-
anyone like even attempt something like that.
It all started from one, like, okay, I'm very self-conscious about putting stream content on my YouTube because, or I was at least, because I thought people wouldn't think it's as high effort. And so I was like, initially, I was like, man, are people gonna like this because it's like stream footage? And then I was like, I'm just gonna redo this cinematically just because I think this will be cool. Like one little part. Like there's one little section in particular where we drive a car off of a cliff, and I'm like, it'd be cool if the camera like followed it down. And then and I was like, well, it kind of looks weird going into a cinematic thing out of nowhere. So I'm gonna make the little scene before that cinematic and the little scene after that.
Oh no.
And I'm like, well, now that looks a little weird with just that being cinematic. So I'm gonna do it for the one before and after that. And I should do the intro as well, maybe the outro too. And then eventually it was just
Oh,
I'm
God,
4
the
months
whole
into this,
thing.
and I'm like, yeah, I'm like redoing this entire video. But I mean, I'm glad I did it. Like it was very interesting to do. I just it all sort of stemmed from being self-conscious of putting stream content on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think.
Um,
I mean, the self consciousness of a creator. I think it would be cool to talk about that for a moment because a lot of people that I know online that do work like us, you know, in like the public realm, like we have our own idea of like what our brand or like our like, you know, the requirements, I guess, or the quality that we need to hold up to are, and it can kind of paralyze you to do new things, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of have to play within your field if you want to retain the audience that watches you for a specific thing, you know. I'm wondering if Bruce, you or Lawrence, have any thoughts on that, because I know you've been, I mean, you guys were a part of a video collective for a very long time that had, you know, a brand, right? And you had to kind of adhere to that. And how do you reconcile that with like your desire to change up things and evolve?
yeah, Lawrence, you want to go ahead and go first?
It's, I mean, it can be tough. It to some degree, if you're part of a brand and if you're part of kind of a machine, you think the dream is that you get paid to do what you want, right? If you want to make a show and you found a way that to make it earn enough revenue that a company's willing to pay you to make it, that should be great. But yeah, when it comes to like corporate sales mean predictability. You can't sell something that you do whenever you want, so it has to fit a schedule. And then once it starts to sell to sponsors and things like that, then you're obligated to do it. So as much as like it can be fun, that process of figuring out how to make something creative also be financially successful, it really does kind of nail you down to doing just that. Unless you try to migrate it to somebody else, but I don't know. I feel like in new media, I feel like there are only a few brands or a few shows that have migrated through multiple hosts. I feel like podcasts are probably the biggest one that can actually successfully change creative direction. But yeah, maybe and just like gaming news shows and stuff from big brands, those things cycle out hosts and probably have different producers and writers as the years go by. But yeah, it does seem like so much of YouTube and I guess anything internet media relies so much on sort of authenticity. And I do think that after you do something for 2 years, for it to maintain the same like structure and creative tone, it can be difficult to do that with 100% authenticity and vigor, especially if you're a creative person. Actually, thinking about it, like, oh, what's this? Phil DeFranco, I think, might have the trophy for the longest run on a like consistently produced creative show.
That's
Maybe.
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but I think you might be right. Or close to it. And he's an interesting example because, like, I mean, Charborg, like you and I have never really been a part of like a persistent brand. It's been more just kind of a personal brand, and then there's been like, you know, side projects and groups that have been like collaborations with other people. Do you think any like does that resonate with you the same way as what Lawrence just described of like, you know, having these responsibilities as a brand, or is it a different kind of responsibility you see as an individual
Yeah.
creator?
I mean, it's weird because it's like I feel obligation to make stuff that my audience expects, and that goes back to what I was saying about how you know, the longer between uploads, the more I worry that it's not going to live up to their standards and all that stuff. And then it's like streaming has been a major relief on me because when I was doing just YouTube, and then, you know, long waits in between, it was so dependent on every video being amazing and like doing really well to like try and like, you know, get this off the ground and like
Yeah,
support myself and all that. And
the tent
I don't know,
pole model is what
yeah.
it's called. You know.
Oh
Well, I
man, that
think
was rough.
Charborg hit on something earlier where, you know, like the longer you wait and the more effort you put into something, the more pressure there is around it to like for it to be good. And I remember doing when I was at Funhouse, and actually the same applies now for Twitch streams too. So like, I just did that flight simulator stream, and I had put a ton of work into that, and you know, I was trying to make sure everything would go off without a hitch, and I was way more nervous and way more scared about doing that stream than I was about, you know, like starting up today, you know, because today was like, oh, it'll just be a podcast with us talking about stuff. It should be pretty easy, you know, like our normal sort of free form improv, play a video game stream. And we do those every day. We're used to them. And that flight simulator stream, I was like, I hadn't been nervous for things in a while. And that was one of the things that I was genuinely very nervous about. And
Oh yeah.
I've always wondered, because like most of the time, I don't know if we've ever run it, like any of us have as creators have run into a thing where like we had put a lot more time and effort into it. We knew it was going to be a big event type stream or video or whatever else, and then it failed. Like, as I generally the audience is pretty forgiving. So I don't know, has there ever been a time for any of you guys where you made something that you had put a lot of effort behind, and then when you put it out, like people just shit on it and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, there was something like that for me recently, and I have it sort of ties into what I was gonna talk about, like with the expectation to do really well, and then, you know, if it doesn't quite hit the mark. It also goes into that with like having uploads so infrequently. If one doesn't do well, like YouTube not pushing it out and like recommending it to people as much, then
Right.
it's such a heavy blow because it's like 2 months between uploads, and then like I can literally look at the analytics and see, oh, my audience is watching this, and it has no impressions outside of my audience because
Right,
it just didn't
right.
get recommended around, which that really sucks. But yeah, like I made a thing in Minecraft where I did a mix of like narration and re-recorded shots with stream stuff, and it didn't land as well as that Grand Theft Auto one that we were talking about earlier, and
Yeah.
that definitely hurt because like I put so much effort into it, and then I saw a lot of people kind of not like shitting on it or anything, but the reception wasn't as well to like to how I did it, and that, yeah, it definitely really hurt, I guess, because you get so focused on working on something for a while, and then you're just not looking at it critically, I guess, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's you hit on an interesting topic, I think, which is, to me at least, the separation of pride in the execution of an idea, and then to some degree the validation of that execution by external metrics, whether that's
Right.
audience gain, audience viewership, or things like that. So I don't know. This is wisdom setting in for me, or at least it's me giving myself permission to not care about certain factors. And it also maybe I just have the privilege of looking at things this way. But the older I get, the more I realize some of my favorite things that I've seen people make were made because they were like genuine expressions of intent and not because they were made to make money or made to get an audience.
Yeah.
So I know it can be frustrating, but I've more and more learned to sort of divorce popular appeal from what I consider to be good execution of what I consider to be an interesting idea, and kind of like just embracing that maybe not all my ideas are popular, and that's okay. So I've thought a lot about that too, mostly about just trying to divorce my self-evaluation of the performance of something from how YouTube or Twitch tells me that idea is received.
Yeah, and it's also helped branching out, like what Criken was saying, the tentpole thing or whatever. Just the fact that I now have multiple avenues to like express myself and like financially support myself, it's completely different. Like I feel so much better about spending time on these big projects when I can do a lot of little projects that are streams, like goofy ideas on streams that wouldn't necessarily be this big video. And it's really helped me just creatively to be able to do these things just spur of the moment, like, oh, I'm gonna do this because it would be fun, and then do it and just see how it goes.
Sorry,
Criken, what about you, Criken? I know you're doing a photo mode with the.
I'm trying to get a picture with me and the fish.
6.9-inch fish.
It's not a very big
a quarter
fish.
pound.
Yeah, that fish is like a piece of shit, dude. You should just throw that back. Like you need to catch a bigger fish, man.
But imagine like going to someone's like little tavern in like fucking Maine or something, and there's just a picture of them like this with a teeny tiny fish on the wall, and it's just like they're really proud of this catch, and it's just this really pathetic little creature.
What if it's signed by the person?
Yeah, they signed their own
like, wait,
picture.
are they famous? Yeah, right. And then you look over and they're just standing behind the counter, same expression.
Yeah, it's the same person. You're like, oh, it's the owner. It's
you.
not a famous person. Charborg, how do I throw the fish around? Or once I have it.
Okay, so for throwing the fish around, you have to snag it out of the water. So instead of reeling it up, you get it close enough, and then you start fucking going crazy like
And
this,
you
and it
fucking
yanks it
throw
out of
it.
the water. Yeah.
Okay.
But for right now, I think you can just run around with it and kind of put it in my face and stuff, and that's the extent.
I'm gonna run this one in the woods and let it go. In the leaf.
Yeah, dude. Just change its habitat. Like what? It used to live in a pond, and now it's gonna live in a bucket of water you found in the woods.
No, there's no water. It's just dirt.
Pile of damp leaves.
Now it's a forest fish.
Oh, I got worms.
Had like it said reward, and it was a pile of worms.
Reward.
Hooray!
Oh yeah, the English in this is a little off. I want to find a good example. There's like
Because it was made by professional fishermen, and they speak differently.
yeah, totally. Like when you send a friend request, it's oh, where'd it go? That's gone now. It's not even working.
Language isn't as important on the docks.
Yeah, you're right. I don't get along with
universal
people.
language.
I get along with fish.
Yeah, the universal language is fishing, and we all know it.
Oh god,
It's not
how do we get out
math.
of here?
It's just pounding light beer and getting baked by the sun.
Sorry, what were you saying, Bruce?
Oh, nothing. I was gonna ask Charborg another question because I know like the stuff you make, some of it sounds like it's movie length. Like we're talking like 90 minutes.
Oh no, I've never made anything that long. The longest
really?
thing I ever
GTA
made
one was close.
I don't think it was. I think GTA was like 27 minutes. I think that's what it was, something like that. But
Okay.
it definitely had like a rise and a fall.
Yeah, it had the
and,
same
like
arc
a story
of a movie.
to it.
Yeah,
Right.
It felt like it was the full, plot.
Is there like has there ever been anything inside you like what made you start to want to make this stuff? Was it because you're like, I would really like to make a television show, or I'd really like to make a movie, or like, or was this something completely unique to you?
No, I think it was being young, because like when I was young, like 14 or 15, I had a YouTube channel with all my friends that we would just mess around and make these stupid videos. And I have like the first video I ever edited where it was I went and stood in the road and set the camera, and then I went ah, and then I ran out of the road and waited for a car to pass, and it made it look like I got hit by a car, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
it didn't look like it at all. It looked awful.
Oh man.
But yeah,
The
I
old
think
backyard videos. I know exactly what
Yeah,
you're
that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
yeah, I think it's just watching, like, growing up, like watching Red versus Blue and other random stuff like that, like just being like, oh man, I could do something like that, and then just messing around with your friends and coming up with stuff. And I stopped for a long time. When I got to high school, I kind of slowed down a bit because somehow everybody in the school found out that we made these videos and they made fun of us for like
No.
making these stupid videos.
Oh, come
And
on.
I just kind of stopped for a while there, and then later I picked it up when I was like in the parking lot of my college, and I was like, I want to make YouTube videos, and so I just started working on it.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you have like? Do you have anything in your head right now, or some sort of idea that you've written down that you haven't been able to make yet, and
Oh.
you're like, oh man, if only I had $20,000, or who knows, a crew and like a bunch of friends. Like, is there something like that you have some big idea?
There's a few things like that like just random ideas for, like, I have an idea for a game, and I have an idea for like a big project with a lot of people that I can't think of a game that would work for. Maybe, I don't know, like I would have to probably get somebody to develop something. But as far as like really big things, I'm not really. I mean, I just sort of come up with stuff as I'm making it. So it's not like I have, well, besides a couple things, it's not like I have like anything crazy that I would love to make.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's like a few things, like a game I was talking about, and this one big project I want to make. But other than that, not really. I know that's not really like the answer that would
No,
be
no,
desired, but
I mean,
I was just wondering it.
if you're like, it's also good to be like content, finding something that you
Yeah.
really enjoy, and
Yeah.
yeah.
like the other thing, another I don't even know if I would describe it as like a hobby, or if it's like your like your side passion. I'm not even know how to describe it, but one of the really cool things about Charborg's style is he makes his own music for like outros and just like weird bits. But they're all like actually really good. Like he's actually
Thank you.
makes like really good beats and stuff. And I'm kind of curious how that started. What was your first time, deciding to make that, and then how it
When
evolved?
I remember the very first time I tried to make music. It was a long time. It was when Mirror's Edge came out, because I remember I was trying to get all the golden stars in Mirror's Edge, and I was very into dubstep. Very
Hell
into
yeah.
it.
I didn't know
Hell
And
this.
yeah.
there was this one song that had I still remember the name of the song. It was a remix of a song by Noisia called like Machine Gun or something like that. And it was just a song made out of like gunshot sounds and shit. And I was like, oh man, I could do that. And then I I downloaded like FL Studio and
Yeah.
like a trial of it, and I just messed around, and I ended up making this thing that was like like just out of gunshots, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I hate this.
It's that rifle burst.
Yeah, rifle burst.
It's a gun
It
made
was-
out of gun, or it's a song made out of gunshots.
It was similar to
Oh, man.
that. And yeah, and so, I mean, I didn't ever try anything else after that. But then whenever my YouTube channel started getting a little more traction, I was like, I should try making music again. So I tried to make a little outro song, and then people loved it, even though it was awful. And then I haven't been able to stop because, like, here's the thing. I'm very self-conscious and very hard on myself, I feel like. So when I make something, I'm like very unsatisfied with it. But I feel like because people liked it, I just kept making myself do it until now I'm a lot more happy
Mhm.
doing it. But at first, man, I was like
Huh.
I was only doing it because people would get mad if I didn't do it. And then but I feel like that helped me, because now I'm like, I enjoy doing it, and it's like a hobby of mine that I've just sort of picked up.
That
You mentioned a couple times, like twice now, I've noticed when you were talking about Red versus Blue, how you would watch it and be like, oh, I can do that. And then you would just start doing it. And then the same with this song, you listen to it and you're like, oh, I can do that. Do you find that that's how your like skill acquisition typically starts? Is something just seems approachable to you, so you go after it?
Yeah, actually, I think that might be a major way that I do stuff because like there's plenty of times where like I had to learn how to like do some coding stuff for like a couple different projects, and it was more like, yeah, I can do that, and I just like started trying to figure out how to do it.
So
So
here's
yeah,
here's an interesting follow-up. Is there anything you don't think you can currently do?
What?
I think what you were saying about with
Fly.
no, I can do everything. No, yeah, fly. Yes, I've never. I don't think I could go on a date with 4 hot supermodels. Let me see, maybe. No, but maybe like a big project like you were talking about with like a budget and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's no way I would be able to wrangle something like that with like a lot of moving parts and like getting things from other people. But it
I
might
think
be
you could
something
do it,
that I
dude.
approach small scale
I
and like.
well, here's like the yes and to that. I mean, if you look at everything you've described so far about your career, I know you've mentioned that you're kind of naturally self-conscious about, you know, taking pride, I guess, in your work, but everything that you've done so far has been like, I guess I can do that. Like, I bet I can do that, and you just kind of, you know, try it, and then it ends up working out or getting, you know, really good, and people really
Yeah.
like it, and it's their feedback that's like kept you going. So it's it seems like you just kind of learn from doing. It's not so much you need to learn ahead of time. It's like you'll just do it, and then, oh wait, that wasn't so bad. I guess I can do this now, and you kind of, you know, on to the next thing and the next thing. So I think that's, you know, if you look at this, you know, what that next scale project could be the same way, then like, yeah, given a budget, given a team, like what would that look like? What would, you know, I think you could do it just because you have to, right?
Yeah, and I think another thing that helps with that is just the nature of YouTube and like content creation. Like it's like if someone does YouTube, they're not just like they don't just like typically play a game and then send it off to be edited and stuff. I mean, I know there's like people who have a setup like that, but like I feel like being a YouTuber and stuff requires you to be able to do stuff like a whole variety of things, like edit and then any problems you run into while editing and you know just managing stuff like that. So I feel like that definitely helped if I you know, like whatever, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm focused on this fish. But you know what I mean?
You got a big one.
Does he?
Yeah, I 100% I understand what you mean, and I think it's like bizarrely is for all the VidCon panels that I've seen talking about inspiration and creative soul and stuff. I do think that that's like the critical point where you can see something made by a professional and or you know, even though the term professional can be a little floaty, but see it and not immediately be intimidated by the process of learning how to get there, or even being afraid to like fail and be weird at a new skill. It's just that the ability to just be like, oh, I can do that, and then Google it, and then just start reading, and yeah, just put in the time, make the mistakes, and figure it out. It's
Yeah,
such
that's
a good trait.
another thing. Googling, like people, anybody can do anything, and that's such a cool thing. Like if there's anything that you want to do, you can just find forums and documents and tons of like videos all helping you on that exact thing. So that's definitely encouraging. I feel like if you're wanting to get into something like that.
Has there, because I know you, I mean, with like your kind of self-confidence around the content you make being this like struggle for you, I guess, your self-proclaimed kind of, you know, fight. What are some examples, I guess, of when you felt truly satisfied with your work, and either from like the reaction you've gotten from someone else, or, you know, you've actually finished something and you sat back and you're like, you know what, this is good. Like this feels like me.
I think I don't feel that until it's a little while after I've released, because you would think after you release something that you've been working on forever, uh, you would be just like happy and satisfied. But for me, I just kind of like I can't read comments, I can't anything because I'm just like I don't want to see what people are saying about me. And but like looking back on it, like that Grand Theft Auto thing, and then a lot of other projects, like now looking back, I definitely feel a lot better. But dude, I'm just a wreck. Like when I see people talking, I'm just like, that's what's weird about YouTube comments is it's always people talking about you, like you don't read it, And so
it is. It isn't that weird. What a weird like phenomenon. Because you're totally right, Charborg. Like, I feel like almost every creator reads those comments. Like, whether or not they read a few or all of them, they read those
Yeah.
comments. And honestly, people on YouTube know that, dude. They know.
yeah, like
They're
you
just-
could ask them and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I mean, of course." But then like they comment as if they don't know that,
Yeah.
and it's hard to read. It gets in my head.
It
There's
is.
there's such a culture, yeah, of people who almost like think that YouTube is an ecosystem that comments is for just monstering on people, just trying to come up with the best like just 2-point dunk on somebody that you possibly
Yeah.
can. Like that's the whole point of comments, and it's yeah, because I've noticed that too, especially like even live streaming on YouTube. Some people treat chat like it's comments, and they talk like you're not right there.
Yeah.
It's very, very bizarre, and that's just something that I found is kind of endemic to YouTube as a website / social media platform.
And it's totally different on Twitch. Like when I stream, I have like the nicest chat. Everybody's saying nice stuff. I don't ever feel anxious about reading it. But like when I look at my analytics or whatever, and it pulls up the most recent like 3 comments, I just don't even look at it because it stresses me out. Like thinking about it, because I mean nobody's been like mean that I remember off the top of my head, but you remember it like in the moment you
Yeah.
it really like tears you down.
No, it does. And like over, I mean, having read those comments now for 10 years, just like Lawrence and Criken, actually.
Yeah.
I think that sort of stuff really does wear you down. Like it doesn't feel good. And actually switching platforms to Twitch really reinvigorated me when I started streaming a few years ago on Twitch, because it was like, what happened?
Criken caught that big fine.
I poached again and they caught me that
You got
time.
fined for like a fucking tiny little fish.
It was
too.
a big
under
one.
1 pound. It was like a
it was a
like 9-inch
pound.
fish.
It was a
Just
pound.
buy a
Yeah.
license.
0.9.
No. I'm a rebel.
That's right.
No, yeah, sorry. It really wears you down. It does, at least for me. And that's sort of the weird pro and con of making content on YouTube, is that anybody can do it. You can do whatever you want. Like Charborg saw something and he was like, "Oh, you know what? I could try this." But then also anybody could comment on it.
Yeah.
And anybody can tear you down as a creator. And I'll just use this format to say, like I say pretty much every day, which is, hey, why not try say something positive to a creator that you watch? Like that's what the most confusing thing to me is, if somebody's going to Charborg's channel over and over and over and they're like, they like your videos, Charborg, but they come and then they negatively comment. Like, why do that? Just don't just stop watching if you don't like it, and instead like leave a positive comment about something that you do like from Charborg, because that will really encourage Charborg and every other creator you know, and it will make them feel better about creating content and ideally making them more of the stuff that you like.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not like a baby. I don't like like I don't
Yeah.
see it and I'm like, why are you being mean to me? But it's
No, of course,
definitely
of course.
like
Being cyberbullied.
why like I'm being cyberbullied over here. Like I can't think of any mean comments that I've received recently, but it's definitely like weird. Have you guys seen people be like, well, don't be a public figure if you don't want criticism.
Yes.
And it's like, what are you talking about? You're just being an idiot, like in my chat. And like people always like, if I ban someone on Twitch for just being annoying, then it's like a big thing. It's like, no, dude, you're being annoying. You know what I mean? Like,
censoring.
yeah,
just
I'm
can't take
trying to
negative
censor
criticism.
everyone.
Censoring.
Yeah, free speech.
There is
Sorry, you call me cringe in my Twitch chat. I'm leaving. You're leaving. Actually, there's the door.
I'm leaving.
that is a weird sentiment. There are people that I guess they're convinced that there are other people living in the sunlight, and they're those. Which in the time machine? Which one was it the Morlocks that had to live underground? We'll go with that. Sure.
I never read it.
It's not the best. But anyway, just watch the Guy Pearce movie that everyone remembers.
Oh, I never saw that either.
Oh. Anyway, I'm striking out on my references right now. There are people on the internet that do feel like they're owed a bite. You know, like for some reason they live with this bitterness or this resentment that other people are allowed to have fame and fortune, like your giant mansion, Charborg.
$40 million.
Made sure to hit the R that time. Yeah, 4 or 4T.
40 million. I live in a mansion.
Okay, I was about to say,
Yeah, I mean the one thing
You need to
that
step your game up, but that's
internet's
okay.
right
That's
about is YouTube pays, dude.
better. Yeah.
We are all
Hell
living
yeah.
like kings, dude.
Hell yeah.
We
I
got-
had Panda Express for lunch, baby.
Yeah, dude. I went to Bruce's house. He's got a fucking bidet. That shit costs $3 million at
60
least.
It actually cost $60. It was $60.
$60 million.
You gotta hook it up yourself. But
Yeah, and I had to hook it up myself. That's right.
But yeah, there's some people just exist in this perpetual bitterness, and when they see anyone that they perceive as successful, they view it as cosmic justice to go in on them to any degree. And what's so weird is like the people who are successful now, thanks to you're getting a little under the leg shot there, Criken.
Don't tell him. He doesn't know.
That's a trick cast right there.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I let it slip. But yeah, there's just a crew of people out there, and the more the years go by, the more I realize you can safely just cut them out of everything, and you lose nothing. All you lose is the negativity they bring. But yeah, there's just some people who feel like the world owes them, and they try to get their pound of flesh by just being negative. And it's a shame, but it's not anyone's job to recoup those people or try and re-educate them. You can't just toss them out. Ooh, such a tiny little guy. You got the smallest fish yet, Criken.
Yeah. Look, hey, Charborg, I gotta sell
Oh
my
my
fish.
gosh, it's even smaller.
I gotta sell my fish. My fish box is full.
I had to release all mine because I couldn't figure out how to sell them.
Wait,
You
what?
sell fish?
Yeah, I just threw them back. I mean, they've been in my inventory for like, these were fish that I had the last time I played this like 2 years ago. So
Oh,
they
no.
were dead.
Stink.
I just dumped
stink.
them back in the freaking pond.
Oh no, they're all dead, man. Why'd you do that?
I just reuse and recycle or whatever. Throw them back.
Well, I like this podcast because we talk to people that instead of going online and like leaving negative comments about other artists they saw, they went, "Hey, wait a minute, I could make that," and then did.
Yeah.
And I think that's in my opinion, that's probably the most productive way of looking at art, as being like, "Oh, I could probably probably try that."
Instead of
yeah.
if you got all this negative asshole energy, instead of channeling it at others, channel it into yourself and then become a creator like Charborg. That's how he started.
Be an asshole like Charborg.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that. You just called me an asshole.
Have you ever gone back to create your first video of getting hit by a car?
No, but that is a video concept I have, but not that video. I wanted to do a thing where I show how much better I've gotten at like making videos by recreating the very first video I made on my channel, which was it was awful. But what if
What
I
was
went
it?
even farther back? I went to like the car hitting video,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I reveal my face. I just go get hit by a car.
Charborg,
God.
what was the video you made that you want to remake?
It was this stupid thing. Like it was back before I even knew like what kind of content I wanted to make.
Yeah.
But it was I played Metal Gear Solid, and I just basically like did a joke walkthrough of how to beat this mission. And the expert level comedy here was that I was saying something and then the opposite was happening. So I would be like, so now you just it's a simple walk over here. You just walk this way. And then it wasn't a simple walk. I got blown up by a guy with a missile. And then I'm like, and now you quietly go over here. And then I loudly go over there. Yeah, it wasn't very good.
That's
I like it.
comedy,
Thinking
dude.
of, like,
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing a video now where it's like, I play the same mission, but I'm playing it as if I'm watching that tutorial trying to beat the mission. And so it's like holding like an iPad or something, like looking, and it's like playing the video, and it's my dumbass trying to make jokes, and then me trying to follow it, and then it just being infinitely more funny than what the original one was. I've been wanting to do that, but haven't jumped on it yet. I think that'd be a good video idea.
I think it's a good idea. And I'll come and leave a positive comment on your video when you do it.
Dude, I would appreciate that more than you know. It's those positive ones that keep me going.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm glad that YouTube added that little heart, because I use that heart all the time now to like let people know, like, hey man, I saw your positive comment and it really helps.
I heart this. That's what I say when I click it. I say I heart this. What do you guys remember any negative comments that stuck with you just because of how ridiculous and funny they are?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
I always have one at the top of my head, because it was I was incredibly vulnerable when I left. So when I left G4 and moved to Machinima, I had never really done on camera stuff before. I knew I could do it, but I just hadn't done it. And we went and did a video at CES, me and Kale, and Kale's good on camera, and I was just still kind of learning. And one of the comments was something to the effect of, boy, Bruce Green is right, meaning I was new to it.
Oh,
And
that's clever, which is the worst. If it's clever, it's
the worst.
good.
It was the worst. And that one hurt. That one hurt. Because that one got me like right exactly where it should have been, like
Yeah.
And I'm sure that person went on about their day and
Never thought about it again.
Never
Chuckled
thought about
at
it
that,
again.
At that
And here you
clever
are
pun they
talking
made.
about it.
Yeah.
Yep. And here I am talking about it literally 10 years later. So it's I want everybody to know that if you leave those sorts of comments on YouTube videos, words hurt, people. They hurt.
Dude, it's like when it's like that and you're insecure about something and then you get a comment literally about that thing, that is the worst.
Yeah.
Yep.
What have you
really is.
considered though that maybe they meant green as in go on a traffic light, and they think that you are going places.
Giving you the 2 thumbs up. This guy's got it where it
Maybe
counts.
you just had your head in the wrong place this whole time.
That's a real stretch, Criken. I'm
well.
not sure I can even go along with that one in the improv sense of the word.
It's like, no, this Bruce Green is someone I can get behind. What else do I get behind? Green lights.
Green lights.
Check
Yeah.
that out and send a comment. Yes, sir. I look forward to seeing you in the next big Hollywood picture.
Oh man, that one hurt. Anybody else?
That one hurts.
It did. It really hurt.
I don't know. I kind of went through a crucible, man. It was it's kind of weird to think about in retrospect, but when I moved back to LA, and then like started working out in the Machinima offices again, by the grace of Bruce, was given more on screen time, and I was a pretty volatile person back then, because I was getting over
Back
divorce
then.
and yeah. Think about this, Criken. I've mellowed out. Consider that.
No.
I mean, a lot of this has been chronicled. But yeah, it was a force of chaos in videos. So I think it was ultimately constructive for the content, but did not endear me to the audience at all. And then there were some other there were some other incidences that like either I acted out on camera or just like mistakes that were kind of edited in a way to make them more suggestive than they were meant to be. And some of that shit still follows me around. I can see people bringing up stuff as proof that I'm like, I don't know, like a creeper or something like that. So more than just mean comments, man, some of those videos have created entire personas that some people have run with for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I got to live with, is that there's a certain understanding of me by a certain crew of people, and they use that as validation of their image of me. And like kind of like I was alluding to before, they'll use that as like permission to do other things. So yeah, that's not so great. That's just life on the internet, though, I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, I don't know that I can remember individual comments. It's more entire campaigns of negativity.
Jesus.
Oh jeez. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember any individual comment either, but I think, and Charborg, you can probably relate to this. It's when you kind of keep some parts of your brand, your personality, or just yourself kind of a private from your audience. That's like always going to be a sore spot, or like a thing that you're reluctant to change. For me, I first started making videos only using text, because I was literally 14, and I was like, if they know that I'm 14, they're not gonna watch me. They won't like me.
They
That's right.
can't know I'm a squeaker.
Yeah, exactly. And I still remember like one of the first videos that I started. I like used my voice in because people were asking, like, and it was like I've been doing this for like a year or more, and I was like, all right, well, I think I'll try it. And then to get like any comment where they're like, oh my God, he's a child, and like this shit, I immediately just like shut it down. I was like, all right, I'll never talk again. I like went and hid from the internet.
You come on and you're like, hey everybody, it's Criken.
Put on a fake voice.
Deep voice.
Yeah, well, it's so one of the things at Charborg, I don't know if you want to talk about your decision to not have revealed your face and kind of to keep your persona kind of a private thing. But I was that way for a long time too, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's such a weird thing because I'm not ugly or anything, but I mean, I just feel like once you do it, you can't go back. And I don't know why I'm getting hung up on it. Like, I would love to have stream things where I do like a cam and like just mess around and, all sorts of stuff. I would love to do that, but I just feel for whatever reason, like once I do it and if I regret it later, there will be no going back. Like forever ago, I had this idea for a video when I was very small on YouTube. I had like 10,000 subscribers, and I was like, it was still before I even knew what kind of content I wanted to make, and I was like, I'm gonna do a video with my face and have, like all this stuff planned, and then looking back now, I'm like, if I would have done that now for one video and people knew what I looked like for just a stupid video, and then I never again, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. It's like I feel like I'm gonna regret it if I do it, but I don't know why.
Well, I feel like you have to, if you're gonna do it, you have to do it and then continue on with your face on everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
other than like obviously you making a narrative project, but like if you're just gonna do streams or whatever, it's like now you gotta have a face cam, Charborg.
Yeah, I feel like I talked to somebody who had that problem where they did it and then people expected it every time when they didn't want to do it every time. And I don't know. I also worry, something like that would happen.
Doesn't German get away with that? Like,
Yeah.
people know what he looks like, but he doesn't ever show his cam.
That's true.
Yeah, he'll do like every once in a while just for like a little joke or something.
Yeah,
I've never really,
I rarely do
watched his
cam
chats, though.
as well. I think it's
Huh.
it's not necessarily a requirement once you've shown your face. It's really how you build your brand and community. I mean, like people watch, me for a lot of like the role play, or I mean, I guess they do. I don't actually know why they watch me, but if they do, then maybe it's for like the role play, the characters, or the voices and stuff. And having a cam can like detract from that. Like if you see a face and they're making a voice that doesn't seem to match that face, that can
Yeah.
like pull people out of it. So sometimes it's nicer just to like not worry about it, just like make it be its own thing. And I mean, Bed, like, so Bed Bananas is kind of a mutual friend of Charborg. I think it's actually how we first met. Was through Bed as a
That's the
mutual
only
friend.
reason I have my friend group is because of Bed. Literally, for whatever reason, he decided like, oh yeah, this guy's funny. Whenever it was, I made some stupid edit of like, whatever. I don't know, dude.
Remember which
I don't-
video
it,
was
it goes
that-
back to, it was your Dark Souls. I mean, like some stupid edit of that, and I'm like, that's the whole reason I know everybody. Like, the entirety of my friend group is because of Bed. I owe it all.
Oh, it all. I mean, he did a face reveal in kind of a subtle, small way, and part of that was because I know from talking to him, like he was just tired of worrying about it. Like
Yeah.
I had felt the same way when I did my face reveal, was because there were people in my Discord talking about like campaigns against me. This is way old Criken lore, but like really,
The lore.
like, yeah, this is like 15-year-old Criken lore, but like there were people in my Discord that managed to get a hold of pictures of me somehow, and were trying to. It wasn't Discord back then. It was Steam groups, and they were trying to get them out there in like you better do this or else we'll leak these pictures of you, and like they'll force a face
Jeez.
reveal, and I'm like, this sucks. All right, fine. I guess I'll just do it myself, and I just did it myself to take power away from them, and suddenly they weren't relevant anymore, and they went away. So it was like that was worth it in its own right, and it didn't end up being a big deal, but like, if you build your brand around being an anonymous character, then that's a different thing, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like in my case, it's not that it's built around people not knowing what I look like or something. But like, I mean, for streams in particular is what I feel like I would use a face cam for. Not every time or anything, but yeah, it just seems fun. Like what you were talking about with Germa, just every once in a while, or
Yeah.
for whatever.
Or then you can do the mustache bit like I did, where you shave your whole beard and you just keep the mustache, and people love that. It just ruins your social
I would
life.
do crazy stuff. I would shave off the mustache and glue it to the top of my head like a little little hair.
Maybe you shouldn't
little
do a
hair
face
patch.
reveal then. I'm gonna save you from that.
I'd do crazy stuff. You wouldn't be able to catch a normal stream. I would always be gluing hair in places and
Always
stuff.
with hair, this guy.
Yeah, this guy is a fish and he loves hair. Go figure.
Takes all kinds on twitch.tv, I guess. Do you shoot, I had such a good question banked up and now I dropped it. Oh yeah. Chat was mentioning, have you ever given any thought to the VTuber angle? Maybe you could just invent a persona.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wanted to do a joke stream where I bought a little camera and I just had like a VTuber stream.
Hell yeah.
But
Be a cute little anime girl.
yeah, I could. Yeah,
You
and
can be
I could do
talking
that
fish.
mustache thing. I
And
was
then I
talking
can
about.
finally do the mustache thing.
Yeah, you can put your mustache
I mean-
wherever you want in real time.
Well, there's actually a huge opportunity, Charborg, because like
you can
know,
be a fish, dude.
yeah, like the talking like bass, like that classic
Yeah.
toy.
Oh,
you
Billy
can
the bass.
You can literally be a talking bass.
And I just face like 90 degrees away from the camera, and whenever I talk, I rotate towards the camera.
Oh
and then go back.
yes.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
That would be fish-tastic, dude.
But for like 3 hours, just that.
You could just hear him just shut up when I said fish-tastic. I'm sorry, I had to slip it in. I had to.
You're
I'm
ruining
gonna,
my life.
I'm gonna get you to say it eventually.
Why does my character have 4 fingers? Look at the freaking rod.
Oh my god, you're right. Wait. What?
Wait.
Oh, okay. The
Oh,
index
yeah.
finger's on it.
Oh no, one of the fingers is hidden behind the rod, dude. Calm
Yeah,
down,
that-
calm down. It's okay.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the relaxed grip. You don't want your shoulders seizing up when you're in
Yeah,
your
dude, you
6th
fishing all
hour
day?
fishing. Huh?
You gotta keep limber out here
Keep
on
it
the
loose.
docks.
Shit gets real on the
It's
docks.
it's uncomfortable
You
that our characters have
pull
not
muscle.
said a single word to each other in character for the
I can
last
change that.
hour. Wait, there's
Yeah, do you guys have emotes?
Is there
You gotta
in-game
have
voice?
I think there's voice.
where'd he go? Your character just vanished
how-
on my screen.
That's how fishing is, though. Haven't you
Yeah.
guys
You
ever,
don't-
have
you
you
don't
actually
talk?
gone real fishing? No, you just
What?
sit there and hang out. That's the whole point.
I thought you also like talk about your wives and all that.
No, you gotta scare the fish.
Hallmark
I mean, you
movies
can't-
have massively misdirected me about the value of fishing.
I suppose so.
No. You go out and sit next to your buddy, and you say like a few words to them at the start, and then you sit there for 8 hours, drink like literally 15 beers, and then when you guys are done, you go, "Hey, are you done?" You go, "Yep," and then you pack
Yep.
up and go home.
There's two times you
Yep.
talk. At the start, you say "ready to start," and they say "yep." And then
Begin.
at the end, you say "you done?" Yep.
Yep.
And then you go home.
Yep. You have to synchronize, like just like we do when we open our podcast. You got to synchronize clap though, where you have to both at the same time say "begin fish," and then the 15 hours goes.
Someone in chat, an experienced fisherman, says that talking actually scares the fish away.
It does. Yeah.
So that's why you have to be whispering.
I thought it was just wife bad, and they just
mean, you can
nod.
feel it.
Yep.
You can feel the hatred, but
Yeah.
you don't
a mutual
verbalize
bond
it.
over the absolute hatred of your loving spouse.
Dude, I'm gonna head down to the lake and fashion some shoes out of air horns and just walk around, and then everyone's gonna hate me. I'm gonna go. "Burp, burp, burp." You're gonna be hearing me from 1.5 miles away. All the fish are gonna retreat back to the darkest depths of the pond, and here I come up the dock.
Can
You're the
you?
worst.
We got a regular Jamie
You're
Kennedy
the
over here.
worst.
I know you're the worst.
It's the big asshole
What are you
energy.
making? You're
That's-
making prank videos now on YouTube.
I should start. I could come up with some crazy
Dude,
stuff.
imagine. I bet you could. Imagine that fucking title on YouTube. I made
I could do
air
that.
horns into shoes and scared away a lake of fish. And it's just a
Fishermen hate me.
Everyone would hate me if I had.
I
a
would
freaking prank
click
channel.
on that dude. That's a crazy video concept. Why are you is a fish your avatar anyway?
It goes back to when I picked my name, Charborg. It was remember that day I was talking about I want to do YouTube videos. I was like, what? Well, first step, I got to come up with a name, and so I picked Charborg, which was the name of a song by my favorite band back then, and then I had to think of a profile picture, and I knew Char was a fish, so I just found Arctic Char.
What's the name of the band?
It's called Pinback.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Dude, hell yeah, Pinback.
That's cool.
But yeah, they had a song called Charborg, and I think the only reason I used that was because it was my Xbox name or something, and I think I just tried a couple different song names from them, and then Charborg wasn't taken, so I was like, all right, I'll take it. So
Alright.
not really too deep. I just the logical next step: find a name, find a picture. Char is a fish. Okay, I'm doing it.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like
What about
most people's
how did you
alias
get your name,
stories-
Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce.
Sounded a little accusatory.
Well, I was born,
Really?
and my parents named me after my dad and my grandfather and my great grandfather.
Oh, so you Bruce the third, fourth?
I'm the fourth. Yeah,
Wow.
You should start calling yourself that. That
Bruce
sounds
the
really cool.
it does. It sounds like a king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Sounds like you should be living in this $40 million mansion.
I sound like an yeah. That's true. That's true. I should be, but it sounds like an inbred king is what it sounds like to me. That's why I don't use. No, I actually really I use the fourth for official titles, like on my driver's license and shit.
Oh,
Like that.
cool. I didn't know that about you.
What about the fishing license? So you don't get your fish hauled away like Criken has been?
That's the thing. You don't need a
Bruce
fishing
the fourth.
license to fish. The fish don't care if you have a license. They'll
What, does
they'll
the
hop back
state
in your
own the
pocket
fish
anyway.
now? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, does the state own the fish now? No. The fish
Wait,
is
hold on.
nature.
Wait, I want to know how Criken got his name.
Oh, you didn't know that story?
I can't remember if you told me or not.
I feel like it comes up every once in a while, but it was basically I was a 6-year-old that I basically invented LARPing without realizing, where I would be on like the recess field in kindergarten or whatever, and I'd be with like all my 6-year-old friends, and I would tell them a story, and they would play the characters of that story, and based on what actions they did, I would then like react to it with a new story, and like it would keep evolving. And for some reason, I named the antagonist, like the avatar of this story, Criken. I literally cannot tell you where.
Huh.
Oh, there's
Bro,
a
a fly
dragonfly.
just landed on your
Yeah.
fishing rod.
Are you gonna eat that?
Wife bad.
No. Oh,
No.
little dragonfly. Oh, you just communed with nature, bro.
Yeah, that's special. But I will never tell my colleague about it because that's against the rules of fishing.
That is against the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just
Sorry,
have to-
Criken, go ahead.
Yeah. It's a magic moment.
It was a magic moment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember actually where the name itself came from, but I remember the character that it was based off of, and like the plot of this game. It was basically like I think I saw like a fucking like old Resident Evil game in an arcade, and was like I loved the idea of a haunted mansion, and so I was like I'll make the antagonist like the owner of this mansion, and they like have a bunch of rooms that were all wildly different. And based on where the players went, they would see different things and have to overcome different puzzles and stuff.
I love imagining little 6-year-old you like standing there telling this grand story to everybody,
Yeah.
and they're picking their nose and eating boogers
Well,
and dirt.
they were really they got really into it, but it was like definitely this thing of it was before the kind of tropes of like nerd and jock had developed. So like some of the guys playing with us were like also like big into sports, and others were just like that's all they did was play with me in this game. Whenever like recess would come around, and I remember this one day, they like someone kicked like the fucking kickball over a fence and it was gone. So all the sports kids were like, "Hey, can we play with you? We don't have anything to play." And so I like I tried to write in these sports kids, and like almost all of them just gave up instantly. Like I don't know what I expected, but they did not understand what was going on. But some of them liked it and they stuck around, and that was nice.
I like the idea of you stuffing a character sheet and like a handful of dice into somebody's hands.
Yeah,
Like, we're gonna play here. Start running them through the rules
yeah.
and take them to the chalkboard with all the rules drawn on it.
I never played Dungeons and Dragons in school. Like the first one I
Me
played
either.
was like I think, God, like sophomore or junior year of college, and then I was like, oh my God, what have I been missing? And suddenly it all clicked. I was like, I have been doing this. This is literally what I have been
Well,
doing.
You know why? I mean, like I would say most video games, like RPGs especially, are designed after Dungeons and Dragons. They
yeah.
are Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
JRPGs kind of hit on like progression simulators. Western RPGs were always trying to recreate a campaign of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, where I grew up, Dungeons and Dragons was still referenced as a gateway to hell.
Me too.
Unironically, yeah, so it was weird to sort of get some distance from all that and be like, oh, this is just nerds like eating snacks and making up stories about dragons. Like, there's nothing dangerous here. Similar vibes. Like the first time I listened to metal, like listened to Metallica, I was like, is this what you guys are afraid of? Damn, this is pretty sick though. It was just weird to kind of all the things that used to be a threat to culture and just how laughably stupid that is now.
Like the first year of The Simpsons, everybody thought that The Simpsons was going to send you to hell if you watched it because it was a
People thought
cartoon.
that?
Oh, they did. Cartoon with adult themes, and like back in like 1989 or whatever it was when it first came out. I think it was 9 or 10. My parents were like, you're too young to watch it." I was like, "Oh man."
Well, it also depicted a family that didn't want to go to church, which is
Yeah.
like was a big deal back then, I guess. For me, it was just reality. But yeah, man, there were some interestingly progressive things about that show.
Times have changed. Sorry, Charborg. We don't
Yeah.
want to. We don't
I'm
want
gonna wax nostalgic about the early '90s.
to sidetrack off of you. Well, Charborg, what are you making currently? What are you doing right now? Can you tell us, like, any
Brother,
part
I'm
of-
just fishing, and you're getting in the way of that.
Yeah, life bad. Hmm.
Got him.
No, I've been trying to like what I was talking about with like the high effort stuff nonstop. I've been trying to kind of alternate where I'll do something that's more high effort and then something that I can just like easily do where I'm not stressing out about like, oh my God, is this going to be good enough? Because just from the get-go, it's just going to be something that's more simple than, something crazy. So I've been trying to do that, and I don't know. I kind of worry about people receiving it bad, but I don't know. Do you guys know what I mean? Like as far as wanting to take a break from doing that high effort stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to gauge if I should even be doing that or just
It's been my
Keep
entire
doing it.
year. Yeah. I mean, variety's important. Like you can use the same creative process to produce a variety of output, but I think it's even more important to reassess that creative process and completely change the way you're doing things. So yeah, if you're kind of tired of a certain creative flow or a certain creative output and you have the means to mix it up, do it. Why not, man?
Yeah.
There's only so many years on this planet. It would be a shame to just spend them kind of doing what you feel like you have to versus kind of exploring what you may want to.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's all just stemming from that feeling of, is this going to be good enough or not, and then making me make decisions based around that. Because maybe the only reason I'm having trouble with these bigger projects is because of like self-doubt and stuff. Maybe I just got to work on that, and then maybe the process will go down a lot.
What I found is also like with big projects, you can do a big project all on your own, and then it takes years, and it can be hard to like maintain clarity of vision through that entire process. You can also kind of partner with other people, but something that I've learned that's really fascinating and challenging to embrace sometimes is that when you start to share a vision with other people, you gotta be be willing to budge about where it ends up, because if it's other people's creativity going into it, the mix is just going to be different than if it's purely out of your own brain. So sometimes to me, that's what the big like AB is versus a bigger or smaller project. If it's something I can do all on my own, then to me the challenge is just making my vision real. But if it's with other people, then it's like I have to sort of back off of the vision a little bit and then just kind of go with the flow a lot more.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, what's the creative goal? Is it to get out specifically what's in my mind, or is it to learn these skills that I will like for other projects, or is it to kind of ride the current a little more and collaborate with people and see what comes out of that?
I think
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think I can totally relate. As someone that started making videos purely by themselves for the majority of their life, I think going into college and a bit after that is really when I started actually working with others in a creatively collaborative way. And that was like a huge that was a Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment when I realized that we all have very specific and different skills and creative kind of perspectives that we can bring to a project, and that you can enrich it with the more of those that you bring. So I think that's a great piece of advice, but it's also difficult to pull off on YouTube, I feel, because it is such a kind of siloed medium in its own kind of way. Twitch is a little bit easier because you can just stream with other people, but if you want to make like long form content on YouTube, it's a hard thing to. I mean, you guys obviously, as Bruce and Lawrence, you guys have done that for years with your the groups you've been in. But it's a huge undertaking, as you know, compared to just doing something solo.
Well, it wasn't long form, but yes, it was like we were trying to create a narrative in every video. Like, almost every video had some sort of comedy narrative that we wanted to put forth. Versus like a 3 or 4 or 5 hour Twitch stream, which may sometimes just be, hey, come on and chill with everybody. And there's no necessary, there's not like a goal to it. It's interesting because like when we branched out just into like the sketch show territory, or like like a like not a television show but a show with a television budget, when we made a few of those at Rooster Teeth, man, the work that goes into those, like I can't even imagine making a movie, like spending 2 or 3 years on a 2.5 hour piece of art and then putting it out and then having a bunch of like armchair critics just shit on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I spent so much time like writing and directing and like all this other stuff. And they're just like, nah, this is stupid.
That's gotta be so bad for a movie, because it's like you just Google the name of the movie and you see on the side all the people and what they think of it, like recommended reviews and all this stuff, and like everybody's talking about it.
I don't know.
It's gotta be hard.
When I imagine like being a director, and like maybe I think what would cut in even more than just some dude with a YouTube channel and a beard screaming about how bad your movie is if like a critic accurately points out problems with your film, and they like kind of put it on you or the creative forces, whereas there were other things behind the scenes you're not allowed to talk about that sort of force the creative output of a certain thing. That would drive me insane. It's like being held accountable for the outcome of something when there's all these factors behind the scenes that changed it. And I know true professionals, like they either know how to work the system to overcome those things, or they're just professional enough to not complain about them. But I don't know that I would have that capacity. and this is like career-ending stuff. But if I made a movie and it was bad, and I truly felt like it was like the actor was being an asshole, or like the studio came by and demanded all these cuts or anything like that, I don't know that I could like quietly sit there and bite my tongue when people are saying this movie's trash, when I'm like, but they cut out like 40 minutes of it, and that was the important part. Like I would probably lose my mind and end my career immediately if I saw one comment that was holding me accountable for something that was beyond my control. So the people's directors' abilities to just really calmly sort of weather all that and be professional about it, and I envy that. That's why I don't think I'll ever be in that position, because I don't think I have that diplomacy.
Do you
or
think
at least I would definitely have to learn it.
Do you think that's probably a result of our like origin on these new platforms of like YouTube and Twitch, where it is so immediate and you're almost expected to, have some sort of response and a conversation with the viewers, versus traditional media where it's like very much one-sided?
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess we're all conditioned to be transparent, whereas and I've thought a lot about this, whereas like traditional Hollywood, there's almost a permanent and implemented degree of opacity. Like you don't get to see the process usually. Like I remember when DVDs came out and there started to be a lot of like making of content on the DVD. That was pretty cool, because it started to erode the walls between the professionals who are making that media and us, who can see, like now we can see how it's done and see, like the art director talked about what they did, see the set designer doing their work. That stuff was super, super neat. And hopefully, kind of like you had mentioned, how like red versus blue was that thing that we're like, oh, I can do that. I like to think about how maybe all that bonus content for somebody who wanted to do lighting or rigging was like, oh, I can do that. That's right there.
Yeah.
But I feel like YouTube was a step further in that direction, because it was a bunch of like semi-professionals, or what's the word, prosumers, stepping into the ring and like teaching themselves how to edit and how to use cameras and how to light. And then Twitch, if there's a problem with the stream, chat howls at you about it, and then since you're the streamer, you immediately like try to address it. So yeah, you're right. There's that call and repeat of feedback that I guess personally I'm 100% conditioned to want to address. Like, I guess everything about the social networks I've been on have rewarded transparency. So it's weird to think about how that wouldn't be a virtue in other circumstances.
Yeah, it's like I wonder if someone like Will Smith or something is like reading through YouTube comments about like a clip from a movie or something. You know, like it just seems that like that's not what it's like.
He's got to have people that like comment and then give him a sentiment report, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the sentiment
yes.
report. This
Like statistics.
yeah, like a user names one positive comment that is taken out of context.
I only have a very little experience in that, but that's what I did. I mean, like I came from the world of television, where we produced a television show for 4 or 5 years called Attack of the Show, and we didn't see comments or anything like that. Like occasionally our segment would get posted online on our website, and we would see a few comments here and there or whatever, but none of it was ever posted on YouTube. So like we just knew that nobody was watching it. You know, we knew the ratings were low, and that was it. And so it was interesting to go directly to YouTube after that, because then I could put something up and immediately get feedback on it. And I actually really enjoyed it. For all of its negativity, I really did enjoy it, because there were certain times that they would say things like, "Oh yeah, I actually do need to fix that," or like, "Oh that's a good note," or like, "Oh that's not a bad idea." And it helps sort of get the sense for what you're trying to make, if you're trying to make something, for an audience. Like Lawrence was saying before, it's like, if you just want to make something to make it, you should just do that, put it on YouTube, and then turn off comments. But like if you're looking to like make something that people want to watch, or that they like, and like want to help, be a part of the process of the creativity of making it, then it really helps. So I made that transition, and I wonder what people think of that now, like what traditional Hollywood directors or producers actually think of it. And because my guess is, and the reason I say this is it's not a guess, it's something I've heard many times. Usually they're just like, fuck them. The answer is almost always fuck them. Like it's almost always like a traditional Hollywood producer director would be like, this is stupid. They clearly don't know anything about production. They don't know anything about blah, whatever. So I don't give a shit what they had to say. And so that's it's pretty freeing for them to just be like, it doesn't matter what they say. We're gonna make what we're gonna make. And I don't know if that's the right move or not. I really don't.
It's you have to have a weird mix, right? If you take everyone's feedback as 100% well intentioned and 100% genuine, you will go insane.
Yeah.
Like Charborg, clearly. There's got to be. I think every individual has to decide, kind of like what they're doing it for. Are they doing it for positive feedback? Are they doing it for acknowledgement of their vision? Are they doing it to be more popular and have their name spread around so their career grows? Like, there's all sorts of motivations. I think what the easiest thing to do, and what I've seen out of a lot of directors, Bruce, when you kind of throwing back to commentary and stuff, most directors know exactly the movie they want to make, and they don't care. Like, if the audience doesn't get it, then the audience is wrong. If the studio wants to change it, the studio is wrong. This is the right movie to make, and they all of their discussions kind of go there. So it's interesting how it seems like a lot of movie directors do have a vision. I think the very smart ones know how to compromise with the audience or the audience expectations, but some of the most popular films have come from directors who are just like, this is exactly what I'm going to make, and it's incidentally popular. I don't think they really intended it for it to be. But then, like, you have people like J.J. Abrams who somehow know how to make popcorn movie or crowd-pleasing hits over and over. And that's kind of what their career is based on, it seems like. So yeah, it's such a. I feel like everyone's got to set that boundary somewhere. And I do notice that some of the people who tend to set that boundary way far to the spectrum of like, I am right and everyone else is wrong, they tend to be the ones who kind of get their way and get their projects made.
Charborg, has that ever kind of crossed your mind? Like, is there a time you've actually taken audience feedback and like used it in your current project or projects in the future?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I think it's like the negative feedback isn't ever something that really sways my opinion or like makes me want to change anything. Maybe when it was really, really early on and I didn't have any self-confidence when I was making stuff, but like now it's more like if I see negative feedback, it's more about like something I was already self-conscious of, like you were talking about earlier, like with the Bruce Green, like, oh, you're green, but
oh yeah,
like that's the stuff that really more gets to me. And I don't know, because criticism now, it's more like what you were saying. Like I have the idea of what I want this to be, and if you don't get it, like I mean, just don't watch the video. It's not for you. Like whatever. So nothing really like that. Like I don't feel like I'm ever trying to adhere to what somebody wants. It's more just when someone makes fun of my laugh, I'm like, oh come on, what the fuck? Yeah, I know. I laugh loud and annoying. Okay, stop. Stuff like that.
It's
Charborg, that's your laugh. Don't let anybody
Yeah.
tell
Own
you
it.
different.
fuck 'em.
Own it.
Fuck them.
Dude, you say that. I made a fucking Sims video where I was laughing so loud, and I had to drag me down to like negative 400 decibels because I was just screaming.
You were
So maybe-
experiencing genuine joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just happened to sound like the wailing of a banshee.
Can you say the same YouTube commenter, or are you living a miserable life?
Yeah, when's the
Yeah.
last time
Shitting
you
on
belly
people.
laughed at The
Imagine
Sims,
a
you son of
quiet
bitch?
laugh. Imagine those people with sad sacks out there, and they laugh and they go,
They
and
say
that's
LOL,
the
but they're
highest
not
they ever
LOLing.
get. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
The disingenuine LOL.
If you ever say
Yeah.
LOL, you better be goddamn like. If you're LMAOing, I want you to fucking roll. I want to hear you.
Oh no! If you're raffling,
Yeah.
you better be rolling.
Wait,
I
so
gotta
wait,
see some video footage.
what
I
is
gotta see some roll on
LMAOing?
the ground.
what is?
laugh my ass off.
Well, I know, but like, what does that literally mean?
I don't know.
I
Oh,
guess you're laughing so hard that your buttocks are engaged in violent vibration.
oh.
I better see that.
Yeah, I better see that clip of that
That's
ass
all I'll
jiggling.
say. You laughing and shaking your little tush. I gotta see it. Don't say LMAO if you don't mean it.
Don't send your clips to Charborg of your butt. All right, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, maybe he's into that. I wouldn't make that.
No,
call for
don't
him.
do it. Don't do it. No, no.
No, I don't want that.
Char, it's interesting you mentioned that you haven't really solicited feedback from audiences, because when you talked about like doing a stream, finding an emergent narrative and then sort of building it out with narrative structure. Do you ever take cues from the audience about where that narrative is or where it could go? Like if you just see chats popping at a particular like, oh, this character did this and it implies all of these things about them.
Yeah,
Like, does that ever
I'll-
weigh in with your process?
I'll add stuff like that in. Like if I have a popular Twitch clip that that is really funny, or like a certain segment that everybody really liked, then yeah, I definitely will look into adding that into the video. But I think it's mostly negative feedback that I'm sort of thinking about. Like it's like I don't really see somebody say like I don't know why do you have the narration here? This is stupid. And I don't say, oh, I'm gonna stop doing narration, because like that doesn't really like get to me or anything, because I know like I'm happy with what I'm making, you know what I mean? But as far as like positive stuff, like yeah, I definitely take that into consideration. Like I look heavily on what was going on during the stream. Like if there's this really funny arc that sort of happened and emerged, then I really heavily want to put that in a video because everybody loved it while it was on stream. So I feel like it's more of a funny thing. Is that what you're asking about?
Oh yeah, for sure. The communal aspects of narrative direction are wild. And yes, we are literally talking about Dungeons and Dragons again to a degree. But it's just so cool that chat, like, it may not be an individual saying, I think this is what this character should do, but just sort of by monitoring the collective kind of heat from the audience and what they're responding to can help you really tune in on the elements that people are would be excited to see. Like Bruce, what you were talking about with YouTube, the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's actually an entire arc that happened in my video because of a Twitch comment. It's like I can pull up the VOD and show like the exact segment. Because with making videos including Twitch like that, like having Twitch on the side, it does sway the way that the like stream is going. And there's one part where I'm like kind of goofing around and just messing around on The Sims, and I'm like somebody said, "What if this happened?" And I'm like, oh my god, that's how I'm ending the video. That's a very funny idea. So then the entire stream changed to be focused around like doing this funny joke.
Yeah, accomplishing
and I don't
that
think about
end.
it in the time. It's just like, it's like, oh yeah, this would be funny just for stream. But then like looking back now at my finished video that I have, like the video would not be like this because I wouldn't have thought of that. Like the video could have gone somewhere entirely different. It was seeing that comment on the Twitch chat that made me like pursue it. So yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
See, chat, you guys do make a difference. They
Yeah.
think we don't read them. They think they're just along for the ride, and in my case, that's true. But for everyone else, look, they matter. See?
But not in Criken's chat.
Again, reiterating, not my chat.
Incidentally, and only as part of large metric movements. It's cool stuff, man. Part of me lamented that through YouTube and to a lesser degree Twitch, but YouTube kind of created this natural selection of the race to the bottom when it comes to like popular YouTube content. Because it's all algorithmically driven, so it's people's eyeballs and their time. They kind of vote on what gets elevated, and it gives you the cleanest view we have yet of the preferences of the mass YouTube audience. But that's like the bad version of it. The good version is that people on Twitch just by bullshitting can help participate and create a cool emergent narrative.
It's also, I think, just to kind of go full circle on the topic we start off on with like the traditional medium and like the access fans have to affecting that compared to YouTube, compared to Twitch. It really has just, if you start with like traditional media and then you go to YouTube, that was a big step up there. Twitch is now a big step up from YouTube. It's like we're just kind of accelerating at this point at a speed where fans and viewers are able to and like have new methods of participating in the things they enjoy, and then those things then react with that. I don't know. I'm biased because I have my whole kind of company and focus as a creator on like audience interactive stuff, but that's really at the core how I see it, is like the success of these mediums has been a result of audiences and fans feeling more involved and valued in the things that they enjoy.
And that goes back to like about the comments, like it's just so crazy how like far removed YouTube is versus Twitch. Like the amount of negative comments I see on Twitch are just like non-existent. I don't see anything like that because it's so much more personal. Like you're there and it's much more apparent that like you comment this, I am sitting right here going to read it. Like, whereas YouTube is just not like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that it's live makes a huge difference there because, you feel seen as a viewer compared to on YouTube. You're just I don't know, it's a forum more than anything else.
Yeah. I always try to react to if somebody comes in and says something negative, whether or not it's to people in chat or like to me or whatever. I try to be like, hey, don't forget, we're all people, like really, really making it clear that that's a person that said something, and then we're also people with feelings too over here. So, you just because you're anonymous in quotation marks doesn't mean that you can be a dick. So, maybe start acting like you're not anonymous on the internet. That's sort of, I feel like probably the best advice I have for people in general.
And I'll see, because I have my YouTube and Twitch so integrated like that, where I will record stuff on Twitch and then spend a lot of extra time making it into a video, like with supplemental footage or whatever. I'll have people come over from YouTube, and like I can just tell a lot of times when they're from YouTube just by the way they're like talking, because it's more about me instead of like to me sort of thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even thought about that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really weird. It's crazy.
Yeah, I guess now I think about it, like when I first started streaming, you definitely get those comments of like, "Hi everyone, this is my first time on a Twitch stream." Like it's like this pre-prepared message that they send, and then
Dear
like
chat,
it's
I'm
like a
writing to you
letter
from my laptop computer.
It is cute. Yeah, it's like they're dipping their toe in this new space and are worried they're doing it wrong, and you've got to like welcome them in, sort of thing.
I really like
Gives
it.
me life, man.
Yeah, I like it.
Any amount of social courtesy. It's like a breath of air, because we're just surrounded by the most extreme examples of people being discourteous to those around them these days through social media, anyway.
That's right.
So God, when somebody is like polite, I'm just like, oh, just stay here and let me siphon the energy off you like a vampire for a second. I have to really revel in it when I have the chance.
Yeah.
A little white crappy there. That was my nickname in college. Sorry, Bruce, if I just stamped on your joke.
White Crappy.
Your joke. Mine wasn't even a joke. I was about to end the podcast,
Okay.
but you caught a white crappie, so
The
that's pretty
10-inch white
fucking awesome.
crappie, ladies.
Yeah.
Dude, look at how tall that rod is. A rod's always that tall?
Ladies.
Why is it so big?
Ladies.
What the fuck?
That's way too big. That is not.
That is not how
I
big
don't-
how tall a rod should be. I
Ladies.
really stop.
This thing's like 20 feet tall.
Yeah, that's not right.
I really want to find a like this picture in someone's like in somewhere, like some tavern in like the middle of nowhere. Just this inexplainable angle for a photo with an crazily long rod
It's
and
like
a
taken by
tiny
a drone.
fish. Yeah, like how the hell did this even exist?
That's like a deep sea fishing rod. That is not like what you're supposed to be using to catch a white crappie.
Yeah, this is like a 6-inch man-made lake, and you've
Yeah,
got
I know.
a 40-foot casting rod.
No, yeah, I was gonna end it unless anybody else had some questions for Charborg.
POV,
Yes. Any questions?
you're
For
the
the
fish,
question give.
and I'm about to catch you.
This is a leading question. How did you get so kind that you would grace us with your time on
Oh,
this
nice.
wonderful podcast, Charborg?
How did you get so kind?
I think it was the $200 Criken promised me, but
What?
Oh,
that
yeah.
had something to do with it.
I didn't
That's
run
why
that by
wanted
you
my
guys.
PayPal address.
I didn't
You
run that
bastard.
by you guys first. My bad. He's hard to book. All right, he's got a $40 million mansion. It's
I'm very busy.
Charborg, where can they see? Where can they watch your stuff?
Charborg on YouTube or Twitch. Charborg with 2 G's,
Now-
which is unfortunate because that's not my name, but it was taken.
just to settle this debate once and for all. Is it Charbog or Charborg? Because I don't think we ever got a clean answer.
It's BOG.
No,
Bug.
it's not.
Charbog.
it's not.
Bruce, why are you so insistent on correcting me?
Because people are gonna try and type this in.
Yeah, we're trying to give you some
trying-
viewers.
And we're trying to help you. It's Charborg, a B-O-R-G, not Charbog.
Okay, well, who's the real Pinback fan and can you or me, huh?
You are.
I named myself.
I
after
think I
them.
would know my own name pretty well. Well, thanks for coming on, Charborg. This has been a delightful conversation.
No, yeah, it was really nice. I had to cancel the last one I was supposed to come on, unfortunately. But I appreciate you guys taking me back because I had fun.
Anytime.
Except
You
for
don't want to know what Criken was saying about you.
Oh yeah.
I was just saying some bad shit.
Oh, some real bad shit.
Charbog this and Charbog that.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I think he invented a few new racial slurs that day.
Oof.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oof.
You know
Only
how
for
he gets.
fish, though.
As long as I don't have to read it in comment form, I'm fine.
Scale skin. What was the other one I had? Slime breath.
Pull out your little notebook.
White crappy.
Yeah, white crappie. That one's good.
All right. Let's call it there before we implode. Thanks for coming on, buddy. This has been a good talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks
Have a good
again.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was a good time. For those of you wondering what that was the Talk to the Internet podcast that I do with Bruce and Lawrence every other week. And then once a month, I organize an interview with someone that I know from my many years of internet-ing. And we talk about what they do and why they do it. So that's what that was. Thanks again for Charbog to come on. It was a heckin' good time. All right, I'm gonna go get my food, which has been outside for a little while. If you guys can just wait here and hold down the fort, I'll be back in just a moment, okay? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that talk. I know it was a little Chef Gooby gifted us up the Charbog. Okay, great. I know it was a little creator focused this time, but hopefully there were some commonalities, some little nuggets of wisdom that can apply. To everybody. So, all right. I'll be right back. In the meantime, enjoy the soothing sounds of Katana Zero. All right, you're back. All right, everybody. Sustenance has been gathered. It has yet to be consumed. This will take longer. Oh, man. What is said sustenance? A bacon breakfast burrito with a side salad. It's time to hop on for some World of Warcraft.